Let me show you how to turn any 3D model into resizable MetaHuman wardrobe with only Unreal 5. No additional plugins or extra software needed. So let's head over to Sketchfab where we can find free 3D models. This Superman model by numbers and letters looks cool. And yes, Batman will dress up as Superman. Because Batman does what he wants. In Unreal 5, we start a new project. I choose blank game 1, but for this guide, any will do. First, I like to create a new basic map for simplicity. Save it, and under project settings, change the default maps to our new one, so when Unreal starts, it opens in our map first. Under plugins, we also enable all the MetaHuman ones, and we are done setting up the project. Before we import Superman, for this technique to work, we have to create a MetaHuman who is going to be wearing this suit. So create a folder, right click in it, choose MetaHuman character, name it, open it, enable the missing settings, restart Unreal. And now we are ready to make the MetaHuman into a beautiful representation of human species. Or you can just choose one from your previous projects, like I will do. The one I remade Batman. So I open the old project, find the MetaHuman, right click on it, and migrate it to our current project. Back in our project, I open the immigrant, create joint only rig, download its textures. Under assembly, instead of cinematic, I choose UE optimized. This will still get you a high quality model, but for a way less cost than a system. But if you have a fancy ass computer, just go for it. Click assemble, and 84 years later, it is done. Now that has created a whole lot of folders and files, many of whom will play a bigger role later. Anyway, now for the most important piece, the combined mesh of our MetaHuman. You can get it by opening the character and in the top menu choose MetaHuman character, export combined Skel mesh. We will make its own folder as it will have more files later. Now, this guy has all of the correct skeleton, skin weight and default pose that we will need to transfer over to the Superman suit and make it into a wardrobe item. Let's do it. Drag the combined Skel mesh to the level word position 000. This little move will be very important later. So, in your content folder, right in top, create new folders, customs, inside that, supersuit, where the end product will be, and working, that will have the temporary files. This way, later when the work is done, you can delete all the unnecessary files in one go. Open the working folder, right click in it and choose import to current folder. Find your model that we downloaded before in Sketchfab. I like to click use pipeline default and import. Find the meshes. This specific model came with a skeletal mesh with his own skeleton, but its rotation is off and the skeleton is way different from MetaHuman one. You probably could make it work with a rig and retargeting the bones, but this is outside of this tutorial. So for now, we drag it into our level and convert into static mesh. Save it in the working folder with the name you like, remove the Skel mesh from the level, and then drag the static mesh into the level. And then we are just starting. So go get yourself a glass of water, tea, coffee, leave a like. The goal now is to make this Superman model as close as possible in shape and size to the combined mesh. Bring the model to location 000 and rotate 90 degrees up. Scale until the shoulders are same height. Bring the model forward until the necklines are aligned. If the back or front is clipping through, scale the axis that needs it. Don't worry much about the rest of the body, we will mask it out later. Now all the changes we did are temporary. If, for example, we bring the same model into the level again, it defaults back to original. To make it into a wardrobe item, our changes need to be the new default. Thankfully, in Unreal, it is super easy to do. Just head to modeling, choose from the left X form. Now keep an eye on rotation and scale. Choose bake transform and accept. Left is location. Now comes in handy to having to place the model into word position 000. Click on edit pivot point, word origin, and accept. Now check out that. If we bring the model back into our level, our rotation, scale, and location is the new default. How easy was that? There is a little problem. The model has head and hands that we don't want or need. Thankfully, Unreal has made it super easy to remove them. Select the model, go to modeling, choose mesh and triangle select. Resize the brush as needed and click anywhere on the hands and head. Now look at this magic. If you click on the button Grow, the selection increases. You just keep hitting the button and soon all of the face and hands will be selected. When done, under Mesh Edits, click Separate and then delete the separate part. Jesus! Just select all the unnecessary parts like before, then separate them and delete. And left is only the suit. When looking under properties, the model still has the old materials, the head, hair, hands. Let's remove them. We go to Modeling, Attributes, Edit Materials. Now remove all the material we don't need, choose the active material, accept, and left is only the suit. Let's line it again with the combined mesh. You see how the neckline cuts through here? So back in Modeling, Deform, Vertex Sculpt, just click and pull until the neckline is nice, like that. And accept. So simple, so easy. We are finished preparing the model. Now let's transfer from the combined mesh, MetaHuman skeleton, skin weight and default pose into our model. It's quite simple process, it just takes a couple of steps. We start in the end with the bows. Inside the working folder, create a new level sequencer, open it and add the combined mesh into the sequencer. Next to the mesh name, click on plus, control rig, MetaHuman control rig. And now we need to move hands and legs to match the bows of our model. I like to start from the bottom up and just one side first, and then just copy the numbers to the other side. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. When we're done, export the combined mesh, close the sequencer and import it back in. For skeleton, choose MetaHuman base Skel. And now very important, select use to as ref pose. Click on import. And we have MetaHuman skeleton and skin weights in the same default pose as our model. Let's transfer them over. We right click onto our model static mesh, convert into skeletal mesh. Creation type will be use existing skeletal mesh and choose the freshly imported one. Convert. When we open our new skeletal mesh, nothing works. It's because we haven't transferred the skin weights yet. So we click on edit weights and under weight transfer we choose our imported model, click transfer weights and accept. Now the suit works as needed. We remove static mesh from our level and drag in the new skeletal mesh. The default pose is still wrong. We could correct it as we did before with the control rig, or as we have now the skeleton, we can use I-key rig instead. It's faster and way easier. In short, it's Unreal built-in tool that helps different skeletons use the same animation. And the animation is just one pose after another pose. We just need one frame. So let's find our combined mesh in the content folder, right click it, create I-key rig. Open the rig, auto create retarget change, save. Right click on I-key rig, create I-key retargeter. Open it, find our skeletal mesh and drag it into the left side target preview mesh. I like to visually separate the meshes by changing target mesh offset. Check out that. We click on running retarget, auto align, align all bones. And that's it. Left is record animation, save under working folder, name it, OK. Left side, under Asset Browser, click on our animation and export. Open the level sequencer for the very last time and add our model skeletal mesh into the sequencer. Click plus for animation and choose the one that we just exported. If the pose changes, that means we did everything right. On the top menu, click Actor, convert to static mesh. Save under the supersuit. And this is our finalized static mesh. And as before, we convert the static mesh into skeletal mesh, use existing skeletal mesh or original combined mesh, convert. Transfer the skin weights from our combined mesh. But now, if you move the arms, something is off under the armpit. To fix that, we go back to edit weights, choose brush and relax. Just keep clicking until the armpits look normal. When done, click accept. And we have successfully added to our model MetaHuman default pose, skeleton and skin weights, never leaving Unreal 5 or using any third-party plugins. I think it's pretty cool, and it helped me better understand parts of MetaHuman and how they work. For final, let's move the textures and materials into our Supersuit folder as well. But hold on! What about the resizable MetaHuman wardrobe item? You know what the video is about? As we have now the correct skeleton mesh, we can convert it into wardrobe item in 3 simple steps. Make a new folder, call it clothes. First step, physics, cloth asset. I like to add CA into the data flow name. It's because we're gonna have another one, it's just a minute. Open the created cloth asset, and it opens with thousands of things, and we don't need any of that, just delete it. Drag in our skeletal mesh, and from it, create skeletal mesh import, and from that, cloth asset terminal. Let's check the view, everything looks fine, save. Second step, physics, outfit asset, name it. From the menu that opens, choose resizable outfit, add our way into data flow to easily separate it from the cloth asset data flow, open outfit asset. In the left side, find variable overrides, activate, click on plus, under source, add our cloth asset. For the source body, choose our combined mesh. Wait for its calculation, save. And third step, right click, MetaHuman, advanced, MetaHuman wardrobe item. Open it, drag our outfit asset here. For the pipeline, choose MetaHuman outfit. And then outfit editor, open them up. Remember how the MetaHuman was clipping through our outfit? Body hidden face map will fix that. It will basically tell the MetaHuman what body parts to hide and what to show. But we don't have it right now. So let's create it. In our content, I click on engine folder and search for body mask. Here it is. Drag it into our texture folder as a copy, rename it. Now I made a cube and a static combined mesh to make the editing the texture easier. Just drag the texture onto the cube and it will automatically make into material. I will just quickly move it under material folder and then drag it onto static mesh. Let's bring our Supersuit model back. Now everything that is black will be hidden and what is white will be shown. Ignore the face, body mask will not affect it. Now, to edit the texture, choose Mesh Paint mode, Texture, Paint. If we have the cube selected, the texture will load automatically. If not, just click on the cube. Make brush strength 1, fall off 0. And then just paint, but make sure you leave a thin strip on legs and arms, other way Unreal might ignore the mask. Now let's look at the static mesh and double check that everything is correct and everything that needs to be shown shows and everything doesn't. When we are done, we just open the wardrobe item and drag our body mask into it. Save it. The moment of truth. Let's open our MetaHuman. We choose hair and clothing and we drag our wardrobe item into the outfit clothing. Put it on. Nice. Let's resize it. It works. Now when we test it with walk animation, it still looks good. Nice. Left is just to remove the working folder and all the extra textures and materials that we don't need. And we are done. And here is Batman from my previous video and now Superman. Let's put the cape and Batman mask on him. Now they are ready to face off. 1, 2, 3, fight. Like and subscribe.